GPU prices have been trending down for so long now that I think everybody thought it would keep going. I might have some bad news for you, but so what's been going on? GPU prices have been coming down, and notice how that trends along with Ethereum mining profitability. Now, that's not the only thing affecting GPU prices, but it certainly matters. This yellow line here is Ethereum value, which is not the same thing as Ethereum profitability for mining. Energy prices, things like that, factor in there as well as the proof of stake transition, which would make Ethereum no longer be mineable. But we can see that as the Ethereum value went down and kind of stagnated a bit, we've seen GPU availability, that's this kind of purple dashed line up here, going up. We've seen prices coming down, and this has been pretty steady. We've been seeing, for example, the 6900 XT selling actually for below MSRP recently for $900 rather than the MSRP of $1,000. I've managed to spot on my community page, for example, the 6600 XT for selling a little bit below its MSRP, not a lot below its MSRP, but a little bit below its MSRP. If you count the rebate, it actually goes down to $355. The point is that things have been measurably getting better. It used to be impossible to find a 3080 for under like $1,400, $1,500 a few months ago. Now they're pretty regularly available for around $850. Again, I track this on my community page. But what is going on now? What is the bad news? Well, it looks like the light hash rate limiter on Nvidia GPUs, at least most of them, it's not all of them, has been fully unlocked. So if you've been a bit out of the loop on this, so when the Ampere cards first came out, they had a high hash rate, makes them very profitable for miners. So of course, miners are going to buy them. It's a money printing machine. Now, if you limit how good they are at printing money, then that will decrease their value to miners, which will hopefully then make them more affordable to people buying them for gaming. However, that was quickly unlocked to about 70% of the mining potential when the light hash rate was supposed to limit it to about 50% of its mining potential. But apparently today, it's unlocked to 100% of its mining potential. And I'm sure this is great news for miners, but I'm a gamer. I target my channel here at gaming. So for me, this is terrible news because jumping from 70% of the mining potential to 100% of the mining potential can suddenly increase the profitability of these cards for mining and could very much drive up their sales prices. That's like I said, a bad news for gaming. Now, what are the details on this? What exact models is this? So it looks like it's for every model except for the RTX 3050 and the RTX 3080 12 gigabyte. That's the 12 gigabyte version, not the 10 gigabyte version, and not the TI version. So it looks like the 3050 and the 3080 12 gigabyte are still going to be down at that 70% limit. They must use like a slightly different algorithm or something if this didn't unlock it for those. Also, this appears to only be on the Windows operating system and only supports the Dagger Hashimoto ETASH algorithm. And currently, I believe that this is on the NiceHash Quick Miner. But I think that they're going to get it running on NiceHash Miner coming soon. Anyway, for any of you miners watching the video, I'm sure you're very happy about this. Your card is now more valuable and all of that. So, I'm also a little bit suspicious about this. Okay, like it's completely possible that this is just a coincidence that this happened right now as the value of the GPUs is plummeting. I don't want to support conspiracy-minded thinking, but it's also possible that Nvidia would like to continue milking miners for a huge amount of their profits. And I don't know, guys. Did Nvidia help this happen? There's no evidence that that's the case. But Nvidia would never, ever lie about how mining affects their GPU profitability, and they would never do anything shady about this at all. Let me get out of the way of this article here. So I'm sure a bunch of you saw this last night. I think Linus talked about it on the WAN show. I haven't actually listened to what he had to say about it, haven't had the chance. But Nvidia has to pay a pathetically small fine for lying about their 2018 crypto revenue. I believe what's basically going on here is that, companies have to disclose to their investors a lot of the details of their financial situation so investors can make informed decisions. So a lot of the profitability back in the 2018 crypto mining boom for Nvidia's gaming segment was because they were selling GPUs to miners, not gamers, which is, really a different thing. And since they didn't disclose that, technically, Nvidia has not agreed to admit guilt over anything here, but they did agree to pay the fine. Now, I think that this is a pathetically small fine. You might be like, that's $5.5 million. It's $5.5 million to a company that's bringing in multiple billions of dollars of revenue every quarter. It's an almost unnoticeable slap on the wrist for this kind of thing, which would mean, is there any incentive for Nvidia not to lie about this? In other words, we know that a lot of where these, this is talking about 2018, but we absolutely know that in this current mining boom that we've had since Ampere launched, that huge amounts of graphics cards have just been being sold directly to miners. And that's a massive part of where the profitability of GPUs has been for companies. They have been raking in record profits on all of this. And again, it's from the mining segment, which is why I'm a little bit suspicious about this whole light hash rate unlocked business as the inflated prices has finally started to come down. But I don't want to be too conspiracy-minded. Anyway, that's for you guys in the comment section. How conspiracy-minded do you want to be about all this? Now, the only thing I will say, though, is the fact that it's not the 3050 and the 3080 12GB does make it sound like maybe some people did finally just actually unlock this thing, and the timing's just a little bit coincidental. Anyway, if you other stories, just some quick stuff. So regarding the 6950 XT, these 50 series refreshes, I just did a couple of videos about both their pricing and their performance. If you're interested in that information, take a look at those videos. But a lot of people have been saying that this is probably just the same GPU that's been in some of the higher-end 6900 XT models. But that appears to not quite be the case. This appears to be the XTXH GPU, as revealed by looking at the notes in the BIOS. So for those of you keeping track of these things, that could be some interesting information for you. Now, in the end, I don't know how much that matters, but now there's several versions of this Navi 21 GPU out there. We've had the, the 6800 has the XL, the 6800 XT has the XT, the 6900 XT had XTX, and there was the liquid-cooled version, and this also, I think, showed up in some other very high-end 6900 XT models, was the XTXH, and this is what a lot of people thought was going to be in the 6950 XT, but apparently it is denoted slightly differently as the XTX. So there you go. Now it still has the 18 gigabits per second memory speed that was kind of the distinction of the XTXH version, but I believe there's notes about the memory that it supports. And so I think there might be a slightly different brand of memory there, so I'm not sure you would want to try to flash one BIOS to the other if you were interested in doing that kind of thing. But anyway, there you go. And last thing on those is we are seeing a variety of the AIB partner models now kind of leaked out as far as what their designs look like if you were interested. All right, guys, what do you think? Are we coming back with another apocalypse of GPU prices? Are we going to see those Nvidia cards selling for 30% higher now because that corresponds to their mining value? If you're wondering about the Ethereum merger and shouldn't that, well, it looks like it was delayed again. Like, this is from a while back, but if you thought that the Ethereum proof of stake was happening in June, it looks like it's at least getting delayed until the fall. And at this rate, I'm not convinced it's ever really going to happen. So anyway, I hope you all still have an excellent weekend.